Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the full wave of LEGO Dreamzzz and just giving you my thoughts overall on this all-new theme. This is going to be a somewhat casual video, nothing too crazy going on. You can see I've just got all the sets out in front of me right here. But I just want to talk about my thoughts on the theme as a whole, having reviewed all the sets, and also if you're interested in the theme, which sets I recommend you guys get. Now of course, these sets were sent to me by LEGO for review, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. And if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts on any one of these individual sets, you can go check out all my full reviews up right now on my YouTube channel. But yeah, this is all 10 LEGO Dreamzzz sets coming out on August 1st, 2023. There is one more set, the Dream Village, that LEGO didn't send me, but I'll be covering that one when it actually officially comes out. But for right now, let's just talk about these. So being completely honest, I love this theme. This is what LEGO original themes need to be, and they haven't been like this in a very long time. It feels so good to have an all-new LEGO original theme that isn't technology reliant, because the last few haven't been the best. It started with Ultra Agents back in 2015, and I liked that theme, but even that had some technology aspect to it, and then Nexo Knights had like a whole mobile game. But even still, those two did stand on their own. They had a technology aspect, but it wasn't like the whole theme. But then Hidden Side was horrible, in my opinion. Like, it had some good sets, it had some good minifigures, and I never actually watched the show, so that might have been good. But the biggest issue with those sets was the technology integration. From the few I got, it just made some of the sets look so ugly. And the box art on those was horrible too, so it does not shock me that that theme failed. And then of course we all know LEGO Video, which was literally cancelled 2 months into production because people hated it so much. And even though Video had fantastic minifigures, there just wasn't that wow factor, and everything was way too expensive and it was so reliant on technology. But this is a true LEGO original theme. There is no technology aspect anywhere aside from like, hey, you can go watch the series online. And there's so many aspects of this theme that feel like it's what LEGO should be. For one, every single one of these sets had an alternate build, and that's something I miss about LEGO, because like way back in the day, late 90s, early 2000s, most LEGO sets did have alternate builds. Like Star Wars sets would have alternate builds that have nothing to do with Star Wars. But that's what LEGO should be. It's meant to be built and rebuilt. And I think that's so much fun, and I'm glad they kind of brought that back here. And it just gives you so many more options for play. And they really went all out with these sets. Like, it really feels like LEGO wanted these to feel like a high quality product. So even small things like the instructions being fully illustrated and colored all throughout, it does so much to help add to the overall experience. The prices on these sets too, I think, is overall pretty good. There are a few bad ones in here, but I think it's more good than bad. And especially in 2023, that's surprising to see. And the minifigures too have an incredible level of detail. One thing I really liked about this theme too is it's not trying to be Ninjago. Like, I think that's one of the biggest issues with Nexo Knights, is it was really just trying to be Ninjago but Knights instead of Ninja. But this is a completely different concept. But yeah, this theme feels like a breath of fresh air for LEGO, and I'm not sure how long it's gonna last, but I hope it is still somewhat successful. I hope it gets the full like 2.5 years that LEGO original themes usually do. I don't know if I expect it to last beyond that like Ninjago did, but I do hope it's a success in the time that it's here. But now talking about the individual sets, which ones are really good and which ones are probably easy to skip out on? Well, in terms of builds, my absolute favorite build of the wave is the Nightmare Shark ship. Here, I'll move Bunshu out of the way. But yeah, unsurprisingly, the biggest set of the wave is also just the prettiest. It looks so good, and both builds are fantastic. The price on that one's definitely a bit high at $140, so being that this is an all-new theme, I don't know how many people are actually going to want to pay that price. But man, that build is fantastic and just so much fun. The other one I really like is Mateo and Zebulba Robot, and that one's only $20. So if you have any interest in this theme, that would be a set I highly recommend, because it's one of the cheapest sets of the wave, and it's just so much fun. Bunshu's pretty good too. While I don't like it nearly as much, it is the same price, and you get some fantastic stuff with it. But yeah, I would say those three are the absolute best sets of the wave. The Fantastical Treehouse I was thoroughly impressed by. I think for kids especially, that one will be so much fun, and I do like the overall aesthetic. Again, another fairly expensive one, but another one of the best of the wave. Mr. Oz's space bus in the back right there, I was a bit disappointed by, and unfortunately 2 of the main characters of the show were exclusive to that set for some reason, Mr. Oz and Albert, and I'm not really sure why. And I guess that leads into another thing, is the minifigure distribution in these sets is weird. I do love how common the main characters are, like Mateo comes in 6 sets and Izzy comes in 4, then Cooper and Zoe are in 3, and then I think Logan comes in 2. But yeah, if you've seen the LEGO Dream show, Mr. Oz is an incredibly important character, and he only comes in 1 set, while Mrs. Castillo comes in 3 for some reason. Now, she is a fun character, but at least in the first 10 episodes of the show, she wasn't like that important, and she hardly has any screen time, especially compared to Mr. Oz. So I do think it's a bit odd that she's so common and he's not. But anyway, moving on from that, talking about the other sets real quickly. Mrs. Castillo's Turtle Van I think is really great. This is where we start slightly getting into overpriced territory. I don't think it's the worst price set of the wave, but it could definitely be better priced. However, I do think the build's fantastic, and the minifigure selection in that set's pretty good. The Pegasus Flying Horse is probably my biggest disappointment of this entire wave. It looks good, but the articulation is super limited. And yeah, it just feels like one of those sets that looks better on the box. The staple of the Dream Creatures is really cute, a very different set because it doesn't come with like any bad guys or anything, and it is a little bit overpriced, but I do think it's beautiful. Then the Crocodile car I think is fun, but also has a really weird place in the wave. It's just at an awkward price point and just a little bit too much money, and I don't feel like it has the best minifigure selection. Like, the minifigure selection's good, but for the the price, I feel like it could be better. So I feel like that's a very easy one to skip out on. And then Grimkeeper the Cage Monster, the very back right there. I love the set, but it is just the most overpriced set of all time. Okay, maybe not the most overpriced set of all time, but it only has 2 minifigures and it's $37, and it's like 50 pieces more than these two, but also nearly double the price. So while I love that set, I do not recommend it unless you find it on sale, because $37 is just way, way too high a price for it. Now, when I do these kind of videos for the Ninjago waves, I usually give you guys, hey, here's the cheapest way to get all the main characters. But that's a bit harder to do because what constitutes a main character for this wave is a little bit different, and there's different variants of the characters that come in all the different sets. Like, technically, you could get Mateo and Izzy both in $20 sets, but neither of them come with their cape pieces. And then it's like, do you count Mr. Oz as a main character? Because he is in the show, but he only comes in one set, so then you need the space bus if you want him. So it's not as easy as like, hey, this one gets you all the characters for cheap. So I think I'll just give you some overall recommendations depending on like what you're looking for. If you're just looking for the absolute best build of the wave, if you're on a higher budget, I recommend the Shark Ship, it's fantastic. But if you're on a lower budget, I recommend the Z-Blob set. If you're a fan of the show and you just want like an all-in-one set that gets you so much of the stuff from the show, I think the Treehouse is probably the best option, because you get the 2 most prominent character and like a whole base for them to hang out, as well as a bunch of bonus characters, some bad guys to fight. I think that set's the best all-in-one collection where you don't necessarily need other sets, though of course they do probably add on pretty well. And then if you want an all-in-one set but on a slightly lower budget, you don't get as much, but I do think the Turtle Band's a decent option, because you get a good selection of characters there, a really fun build, and you do get one bad guy to fight, though yeah, in terms of the villains there, that's a little more limited. But yeah, overall I was very impressed by this first wave. I'm very excited to see where else this theme goes. I hope it continues to push out great sets like this, because I miss having good LEGO original themes like this, and I know kids will have a ton of fun with these sets. But I think that's about all I have to say for this video. I just want to make a video going over everything, giving you my recommendations, but of course if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts on any of these sets, including the minifigures and the alternate builds and everything, you can go check out all of my reviews up right now on my YouTube channel. I'll also put a link in the description to a playlist with all of them. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this wave. Are you planning to pick up any of the sets? Which ones? And do you think Dreamzzz is going to be successful, or do you think it's going to fall off like most other recent like LEGO original themes have? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!